I'm just glad that there's so much control. Okay. Mate, I just want to say 3 words. No. The 3 words I wanted to put in were I don't care. I hope that Formation Lab is on. Ah, fuck me. No, that's too low. That's way too low, man. Mate, do at least something like 14-18 or 16-16, something like that. Hey, it's too low. I think Harvey can do that. 20. No. That sounds like GT. So in a normal race, we probably like 24, 25, something like that. 24, 23. Yeah. So I commented now. 5 red lights are out. Same grid as in Jeddah, because Jeddah is for the good old bin. We'll probably see also some bins into turn 1s and 2. Durdan losing positions here. Rob P2, Walter P3. Of course. Yeah, we have Sevilla without a wing. We have another Aston Martin spinning. That is Raisin. A lot of damage, a lot of debris on the track. On board with Sevilla, who has damaged his car. Harvey losing a position to Tubber. He also lost his wing. Tubber coming back on track from outside of the track, hitting an Aston Martin, hitting another car. That was, I think, Boltex, I'm not sure. Well, complete carnage going on here. Harvey against Chinchilla. Harvey without a wing. In P8. Shit camera angle. Safety car. Thank you, Eskimo, because the game doesn't tell us. Virtual, or say, oh, it's a safety car. Good for everyone who started on softs and has wing damage. We'll take a look. Only Harvey started on mediums. Shit for him, because he needs to pit. Broken wing. Jumping to the top. Sepdeck is staying out. Rob is coming in. Walter's coming in. Durdan staying out. Castor coming in. Tiny staying out. Scientist coming in. Harvey coming in. Chinchilla staying out. Sevilla coming in. Boltex also in. Eskimo behind him in. And Raisin in P13 also in. So only Sepdeck, Durdan, Tiny, and Chinchilla stayed out. Let's see what Harvey is doing. Harvey is pitting for fresh softs. So he probably hopes for another safety car to pit again for softs then, because he started on mediums. Rob with a penalty. Let's see what penalty that actually is. It's a 5-second penalty. So probably for speeding into the pit lane. but I think it didn't pop up when he was actually coming into the pits. Maybe I lost it. Who cares? Let's see if the safety car will also stay out like in Jeddah.
That was crazy, man. I was just driving around.
Tubba and Jeff have DNF'd from this race. Tubba and Jeff are out of this race. And that was probably the incident that we've been watching when Tubba was rejoining the track and then lost his car and crashed into a bright car. And the bright car was obviously Jeff, because he's in a white car. White is bright. Both are DNF. That is shite. Everyone following each other now. Anyway, Septek in P1, Dirt on P2, Tiny P3, Kinchichilla P4. The first one of the guys who has pitted. He's in P5, followed by his Dutch friend Walter, Dan Casto, Scientist, Eskimo, Harvey, Sevilla, Boltex, and Raisin in P13. Let's take a look at the tire choice. So the top four, of course, is still on softs. Behind that, everyone on mediums, only Harvey on softs because he started on mediums. So he's hoping for a safety car. And he's coming into the pits again, so he's pitting again for fresh mediums now. Yeah, probably a good choice, but yeah, a little bit of speculation in it to stay out on softs, but yeah, you never know, you never know. He has the pace to go into mediums and to still do something special. Let's see what's going to happen. Of course, he will be last. The pack is now out of turn 2. Harvey is now out of the pits and can warm up his tires comfortably behind the pack. His mediums, of course, won their bolt. He started on them, so he has to use them again, because the game doesn't give you 2 or 3 sets of fresh mediums or softs during the race. You only have 1 set of fresh softs, 1 set of fresh mediums, and 1 set of fresh hards. The game did a really good job by selecting those tires for a race. Especially good when you're driving in a 50% race on maybe a 2 or 3 stopper with a safety car and you're putting fresh tires on that have 35% on it. Always good to know. Castro just asked 2 minutes ago if there's a crowd audio glitch. What the fuck? To be honest, who cares? Nice. Durdan leaving the track there into Spoon. Don't know if that was special tactics. Of course, we are now taking the piss a little bit. Safety car will be coming in at the end of this lap, and Septek will be the one who's dictating the pace at the restart. He's still on kind of fresh softs. He started on them. Safety car came out on lap 1, so his tires are still fresher than they would normally be at the beginning of lap 4, coming around the chicane, still warming up his tires. Tiny's almost next to Durdan, and Septek is now accelerating. Good restart by him. Walter got caught. Chinchilla, Rob, they're all overtaking Walter. Castro too. Walter, absolute nightmare. Scientist side by side with him into turn 1, backing off on the outside and getting swallowed by Boltex 2, who's now up to P8. They touched, because why not? Sevilla in P10 backing off, having the outside line there through the S's. Septek P1, Dirt on P2, King Chinchilla P3, Tiny P4. So Chinchilla gained another position by overtaking Tiny, and Rob is now overtaking Tiny. Casto too, so Tiny also has a nightmare of a restart. And he's going off track, coming back on track. Walter has to brake hard there to avoid him. Boltex in P8, sniffing on the rear of Walter, putting the nose in down the inside. Walter has the inside for the hairpin. And Tiny right in front of him. Boltex with nice acceleration out of the corner, up to P7 for him. And that is Septek spinning, having a good old spin into the wall. So P1 gone. Durdan now in P1. Chinchilla in P2. Rob P3, losing some pace here. Casto seeing that, using ERS. Side by side with Rob into 130R. On board with Casto on the inside. Pushing Rob wide there, to be honest. But he's going for it, and Chinchilla hit Durdan. Durdan spun around. Chinchilla has damage. He was sliding into the last corner, hit the wall, DNF, and we have another virtual safety car or whatever the game gives us. We have a safety car. Casto is out of this race. Rob is now into P1. Chinchilla pitting under safety car conditions, of course. That was more luck than anything else. He hit Durdan into the chicane. It seemed like Durdan was really low on pace there. Don't know what happened there, but it is what it is. Durdan P10, Chinchilla P11, Septek P12. Coming into the pits now. Not getting his wing changed, just getting medium tires on. And let's see who still needs to pit, if there is anyone. Yeah, there is someone. Tiny still has to pit. Durdan too. So 2 people still have to pit. Rob actually in the net lead. Safety car is waiting at the exit of turn 2. Safety car conditions still, so no overtakes allowed. Walter pretty close behind Boltex here, leaving some space now. Tiny maybe pitting. Yep, Tiny's coming into the pits now. Getting fresh mediums on. He will lose a lot of positions. He will probably come out in P9 because Durdan will also pit. He's doing it. Oh, more people are pitting. That's actually good for Tiny. He's not losing that much time. He slowed down Harvey here in the pits. Could have been better. Harvey putting on those fresh softs again now. So Walter and Harvey on fresh softs. That is interesting. So the top 6 is on 4 lap old mediums and don't need to pit again. Tiny in P7 is on fresh mediums. Walter and Harvey on fresh softs. Chinchilla, Durdan and Septek also on fresh mediums. Rob is leading the race. He has a 5-second time penalty to his name. Raisin is up to P3. He was last on the first lap and didn't recover from that after the safety car restart. He only went up a few places, but now he's up to P3. His teammate Sevilla is in P4 right behind him. Rob really close to the safety car here. Castle says he can't hear anything. Well, you don't need to because you're DNF now. But you probably didn't hear. I know what you want to say, Castle, but I don't want to listen. Boltex is happy that he's up to P2 now. Don't be too happy. It's just the end of lap 6. Still half of the race to go. Safety car will be staying out for another lap, which means for lap 7. And with the start for lap 8, the safety car will probably be coming into the pits. Yeah, he did it again. Don't know why he was already on first softs. Maybe he has damage. Who knows? Who knows? Tiny said something about that. It is what it is. Walter now in P12, which means last on fresh softs. But nothing's lost here. He doesn't have any penalties. He's on fresh softs. He's quick. He can still do something to get good points for himself and Red Bull here. But Eskimo doesn't care. He's a P6. He has nothing to do with Walter now. He only has his teammate behind him. And Harvey in P8, who is on fresh soft tires.
Picking up the little bits of points for McLaren, seeing as mum ran his Mayfair in a minute. Are we reckoning on these softs though? Are they gonna?
Those softs will go until the end.
They will definitely.
Yeah, 6 laps to go. They're now on around 4 or 5% now. They will go up by 4 or 5% per each lap. So at the end they're around at 40%. Still enough. Rob leaving the track for a millisecond, probably getting a warning. Good job. Softs will make it to the end. Only the last 2 laps will be tricky. Safety car will be coming in at the end of this lap. Rob is decreasing the pace because he will be dictating that out of the chicane. And then we're going on with our race, and we hope that there's no more safety car. Rob now the exit, jumping on board to see what he's doing. Still very slow, weaving, warming up his tires, and now he's going. Rob is going now. Boltex, not too bad of a restart. Raisin, Sevilla, Scientist pretty close behind him. They're warming up the tires a little bit. Eskimo P6, Harvey P7. See that he will try to go around the outside. He does it. Harvey has much more grip. Absolutely phenomenal how he's going around the S's here. It's looking like they all have GP2 engines in their cars. Tiny going around the outside of Eskimo, who needs to be careful on traction now. Chinchilla right behind him. Eskimo defending, getting a hit from Chinchilla. Fighting for P8 here. Eskimo running a little bit wide. And at the front, Boltex is just 1.5. Nope, now it's 4.5 tenths. Spinalla by Boltex. Big one. Raisin P2. They're all going up a place. I don't need to read that out for you because Boltex now last. Yellow flag, sector 2, of course. But it seems like there's no safety car at the moment. Green flags again. Rob leading the race. Raisin P2. Sevilla P3 and Harvey already up to P4 on this soft tires. 6 lap old mediums for the guys in front. 2 lap old softs for Harvey. He's pushing. He's getting closer and closer to Sevilla. We're going to jump on board because he will probably try to overtake Sevilla into turn 1. Both with good exits. Both, of course, using ERS. Sevilla still on the ERS, but Harvey wants to have him now. Outside. Those softs are just too good. Easy move for Harvey up to P3. Next one, Raisin. Jumping on board with Harvey. Oh, that Ferrari sound is bloody horrible. He's now in P3, setting the fastest first sector, of course. He's making those ties work, and Raisin needs to push hard now to overtake Rob. He tries around the outside into the hairpin. That's good for Harvey. He's gaining and gaining and gaining. Rob defending P1 from Raisin here. Jumping on board with Raisin because his car sounds much better than the Haas. Sector 2 yellow flags, ball takes with another spin. And Harvey is now really close behind Raisin. What's he doing now? Raisin going for the move against Rob down the inside. They touch. Big touch. Harvey down the middle. Touching with Raisin. But I think it was a good move from Harvey to go through the middle, because both have been kind of off track or off the line a little bit there. Harvey P2. Raisin P3. Rob still P1. You see the difference in grip here. Harvey is getting closer and closer to Rob, and he needs to overtake him ASA fucking the mucking the P. Raisin, of course, caught up to those two. Sector 1 yellow flags, Boltex again. Probably green flags in a second. Yeah, green flag. And Harvey on lap 10, really close behind Rob now. Harvey on 50% ERS. Raisin 2, Rob also. All of them using it. Boltex spun again, sector 2. Jumping on board with Raisin to see what is going on ahead of him. Harvey with a good exit. And the slipstream of Rob, probably using ERS and DRS, and that's a big advantage. That's a really big advantage. Rob defending the inside. Harvey going down the inside, taking P1. Good job by Harvey. Rob in P2. And Rob is the cushion that Harvey needs now between himself and Raisin for the last 2 laps, when his tires will go down a little bit. He needs to push really hard now. He's on 32% of ERS. Rob on 40. Raisin on 40. And Raisin is kind of trapped behind Rob. He wants to get him now. He needs to be patient and careful. Oh, yeah, Spinola. Raisin out of this race. Raisin DNF'd at the exit of Degner 2, which is a horrible place to spin, of course, because you end up in the wall immediately. Yellow flags, no safety car, and they're all bunched up behind Servilier. Scientist, Chinchilla, and Walter all behind. Walter up to P7 on his softs. Maybe trying to get another one here. And Septex spun, I think, in sector 2. Yes, he did. Voltex is pitting. Harvey in P1, Rob in P2. And now it's interesting. Tiny is 5.2 behind Rob. Rob has a 5-second penalty. We need to watch that. And Septex spun again, and there's some shit going on in front between Sevilla, Scientist, Chinchilla, and Walter. Sevilla staying ahead. Scientist side by side with him. Low on the gear. Chinchilla right behind. Sevilla using all of his ERS to defend. But Scientist behind with ERS and DRS going down the inside. Walter having look. Oh, that was a lot of contact between Scientist and Sevilla. And Walter snuck through. P5 for him now on fresh softs. Yellow flag sector 2 again. Oh, and Walter overtaking Scientist around the outside there. Sevilla having a look here. But Scientist staying ahead, and Sevilla and Scientist touch. That's Spinola for both. Eskimo will say thank you later. See you later, mates. I'm going through. That's P6 for him. Jordan following him into P7. Walt up to... Oh, Chinchilla spun! Chinchilla spun out of Decna 2, doing a 360 here. Eskimo P5, Duradon P6. And Walter now trying to do everything to maybe get Tiny. Rob is just within the DRS window of Harvey, using all of his ERS to get back into it. He has more than Harvey, so he can do it, but he has a 5-second time penalty. Needs to watch the gap behind. It's 6 seconds, so everything is looking smooth here. And Walter will probably settle for P4, which is a bloody good result for him. He gained 1 position. Okay. Eskimo gained 8, so he's coming for driver of the day. But we don't want to jinx it, so he needs to be careful on the last lap to get it done. Duradon now 1.7, 1.8 behind. So no threat from behind probably, but Eskimo with a shit exit. So he lost a few tenths here. And Duradon under attack from Scientist is going down the inside, but braking a lot. Up to P6 now, 1.5 behind Eskimo. So don't see any threat here for the moment. Eskimo and Scientist on similar ERS levels. Sector 1 yellow flag, that's a Ferrari, that's Chinchilla. He spun into the wall, but then, oh, he lost his wing. He did, but nothing really crucial now. And Harvey is now on the exit of Spoon. Eskimo on the exit of the hairpin. 7 tenths in front of Scientist, both on same ERS level. Sector 1 yellow flags again. Both on low ERS now. Harvey finishing the race in P1. Rob in P2. Tiny P3. Walter in P4. And Eskimo fighting for P5 here, but he will have it right in front of Scientist, who's finishing in P6. Duradon P7, Civilia coming across the line in P8, and Chinchilla is now in 130R. He lost his wing, so he needs to be careful. And Voltex DNF'd on the last lap after his probably 8th spin in Decna 2. Chinchilla in P9, crossing the line right now for at least some points with 5 DNFs, and Raisin Casto are like top guys in the championship standings who DNF'd in this race. Harvey getting a big one here with a win. Rob with P2, Tiny in P3. Great result for McLaren with P3 and P5. Walter finishing in P4 after good recovery on soft. Scientist P6, Duradon P7, Civilia in P8. Gained 6 positions like Chinchilla. And Septek finishing in P10 after an unfortunate race for him. Completes the top 10 in Suzuka. So here we have our final results of our race in Suzuka. Harvey finishing in P1 with the fastest lap. Rob in P2. Tiny in P3. Walter P4. Eskimo P5. Then Scientist, Duradon, Civilia, Chinchilla, and Septek, our last finisher, in P10. Boltex DNFing from this race together with Raisin, Casto, Tubba, and Jeff. So that's it for the night, boys. After a shit one in Jeddah. We had a decent one in Suzuki. And we're probably going to see you next week when we actually have 2 races again that work, hopefully, and move on from that. So good night. Have a great weekend. See you later.